Variables means what? Just understand this thing only. Variable is an entity which can take off different values. So you might have in your maths classes, we always use this, right? X is a variable which can take off different values. That's what we have discussed, right? And as a variable means any entity which can take off different values based on different conditions, based on different situations, and that is what you will see here. Variables are those parameters whose value varies as situation changes, and they are key elements of an experiment. A variable is a characteristic that take two or more values. Okay, they're the same. It is something that varies. Height, weight, literacy rate, age, all these are variables. Variables can be divided into independent and dependent variable. In any research method, there are always some dependent variable and there are some independent or fixed variable. See, some variables which if you talk about education, it may be a dependent variable. Why it may be a dependent variable? Because it is depending on certain other cases, your class, okay, and your parental income. So that is what you mean by dependent variable. It depends on some other variable, okay? Okay, it is there. Value of dependent variable depends upon value of independent variable and other dependent variable also. So dependent variable means it depends on something else. Variables can also be classified into experimental variable, measured variable, discrete variable, continuous variables. So different classifications just for writing a line. This point is very important that you need to write in your answer. The method used to analyze the relationship between variables is known as multivariate or variable analysis. So this we will study in the theory of suicide by Durkheim. So how he used different variables in conducting that theory. He used different variables like rural, urban background. Okay, he used sex. He used married, unmarried. That also as variable. He used religion. Okay, like Protestants and Catholics. He used developing and developed. Okay, all these are the variables which he used, and we will be studying about Durkheim when we discuss about the theory of suicide. So this method was pioneered in sociology by Emile Durkheim in the study of suicide. In sociology, this was this was actually used by Durkheim in his study of suicide. He studied effect of various independent variables like religion, gender, marital status, etc. on dependent variable, that is suicide. Suicide is a dependent variable because it depends on certain aspect. Okay, it depends on all these variables. That's why it's a dependent variable. Why it is a variable? Because it can change. Proper weightage has to be given to each variable according to the impact on outcome. It means that you will understand when we discuss about the theory of suicide, you have to give different weightage to different variables. Okay, so religion, okay, marital status, different variables will have different weightage on people committing suicide. Now these are things which you can read. In any social experiment, the researcher first need to identify the variable and establish which one of them is dependent and which is independent, then establish the interrelationship. In natural science, establishing the correlation between variables is easy in controlled experimental setting because you are doing it in the laboratory setting. It will be very easy. But in case of sociology, that may not be possible. Okay, so the experimentations are not necessarily indirect experimentation is actually possible, not the controlled experimentation are possible. So it can be a short note, just go through this. There is nothing to understand or prepare. You just need to know what is variable. It is an entity which can take off different value. There are two types of variable, dependent variable and independent variable. Okay, dependent variable, the value depend on some other variable. Okay, for example, when I discussed about suicide, it depends on various other things like religion, okay, marital background, rural urban background, rich poor background, etc. Your education again is a dependent variable, depends on your parental income, okay, the class in which you are born, your family background. So all these are independent, all these are dependent variable. Then talk about multivariate analysis. The method used to analyze the relationship between variables is known as multivariate or variable analysis. So this you have to add the theory of Durkheim here.